All right, everyone. Thanks for attending and joining the Snowflake Accelerated webinar, taking your migration from zero to Snowflake by Data Ideology. And with that, I'm Mike Stargo, founder and chief data and analytics officer of Data Ideology, and I'm also a SnowPro certified core architect. As I look at Data Ideology and how we help organizations and customers, we really help our customers who, really businesses that have less time to react, giving the growing volumes of data, the more distributed data sets they have from an organizational perspective, and the various data silos that many organizations have throughout their organization. And, the businesses we work with, their customers are starting to have higher expectations, more demanding on the business to have more interactive analytics at their disposal with improved transparency. So we help our customers achieve and deliver on that. And, from how we help, we really help our customers leverage all data from all their data sources. And we do that by leveraging a best practices and proven approach that we've worked to develop over a period of time. And we help organizations transform their organizational capabilities. We help them maximize the value of the data that they collect and produce as organizations. And with that, the results for our customers are that now they can make fast, accurate decisions. They're enabled to increase capabilities while reducing costs throughout their organization. And we deliver improved collaboration across internally and externally with our customers through delivering enhanced analytics. And a little bit about Data Ideology. My co-founder, along with Toby George, we founded the business in early 2017, and we worked really to serve the region's largest enterprises in the Pittsburgh, Ohio Valley region. And we're one of the region's fastest growing consulting organizations with 30+ consultants focused strictly on data and analytics. And what we do within the data and analytics space is really focused around a lot of the data platform modernization. So data warehouse modernization, data warehouse migration services, helping organizations eliminate those data silos throughout, and enterprise data governance along with master data management. And we have a great partnership with Snowflake. Right now we're a services partner, select services partner, and we have a number of consultants on the team that are also SnowPro certified architects. In addition to that, we also enable our customers, and with our partnerships with Microsoft Power BI as well as Tableau. And from the data viz space, we help work with our customers, deliver enterprise deployment throughout leveraging those tools, bringing that data together, eliminate complexity throughout their organization, develop enterprise governance models around Power BI and Tableau, as well as enablement and training. So from Data Ideology perspective, we bring that proven methodology, our expertise, and it helps accelerate insights for our customers. And what we do, we help organizations align the people, processes, technology, and data. We help integrate and consolidate all the data from applications, databases, and various other third-party data sources. We help them manage it with a single source of truth in a governed environment with technology such as Snowflake. And then we help them visualize that data. We share that data out, both internally and externally, so that they can really produce enhanced analytics and make fact-based decisions. And a little introduction about Snowflake. So what does Snowflake do? Snowflake is really a cloud data platform that helps integrate all the various sources. It enables to easily produce data pipelines to integrate those sources. It has data lake capabilities to store and access all of your organization's data. It has data warehouse capabilities to deliver analytics at scale. It has data science capabilities where it enables data science by making it easier to prepare your data so that it can be leveraged via data science application. It makes it easier to build data applications, helping you streamline the process and eliminate a lot of the operational burden that it typically takes to integrate all that data and deliver that data throughout your applications. And last but certainly not least, it provides that data exchange capabilities where it enables you to share and collaborate with your data both internally and externally to different data consumers. And Snowflake sits on top of the three major cloud platform providers, Google Cloud, AWS, along with Microsoft Azure. So what's the secret to Snowflake's success, and why is Snowflake different than the rest? And it really comes down to the three-tier architecture. You have the cloud services layer, which is really that management and orchestration of everything. So the management in the entire environment. Then you have the multi-cluster compute layer, which is really that query processing engine, that we call virtual warehouses in the Snowflake world, that enables you to have multi-parallel processes and distribute compute throughout your organization. And then we have that centralized storage layer, which is really the storage of your data in a compressed, optimized form based upon the cloud provider that you have, and across various cloud providers. Again, Google, AWS, and Azure. And what makes Snowflake different is it meets all the requirements of cloud data warehouse platform. Our customers enjoy having a single platform that enables you with one copy of the data that can deliver on many different use cases and workloads. And it's a secure governed platform which you can store all your organization's data in. And then on top of that, as near zero maintenance, as it is a software as a service, and it has unlimited performance and scale as well. And the success by the Snowflake platform can be seen by the thousands of customers that Snowflake has throughout their entire ecosystem. And with that, a little bit about the data ideology, Snowflake migration, and our approach and how we help organizations modernize their data platform. So we put together a Snowflake migration blueprint for success, and it's a 9-step process that we follow when we help organizations work through the migration process. And so first and foremost, we help, we need to document the existing solution, understand the current state, the current architecture, and the various databases that we're considering migrating into the Snowflake platform. Next, we're going to establish the right migration approach, which we'll talk a little bit more about as we move on. So there's a lift and shift option, there's the optimize existing application option, and then there's a total re-architecture option. And again, we're going to work with our customers to establish that approach and help enable them moving forward. And we want to capture all the existing development processes, and what tools, what are the environments, and what are the processes that are currently in place. And next, step 4, we're going to work with our customers to prioritize the data sets, whether that's priority by data domain, by complexity of the data or the process. And we have a methodology that we work through when we help organizations prioritize this. And then we want to identify the team in step 5. What are the members of the team? And then what are the roles that those members are going to play on the team? And let's align those roles to a RACI so that we know who's responsible, who's accountable, etc. And then step 6, we want to define timelines and budget and determine the success criteria and understand what success looks like, in our customers' eyes. And from step 7 perspective, we look at determining migration outcomes. What are the assumptions? How are we going to communicate with our stakeholders throughout the process to keep them informed as the progress we're making throughout the migration journey? In step 8, we're going to develop a test plan. So we define the test plan, we're going to document the test plan, we're going to automate a lot of the testing and make it a repeatable process as we move forward. And lastly, step 9, we're going to establish the security and access controls throughout the user base, and align those users to different roles within the Snowflake environment. So if I take a deeper dive on it, really that migration plan, success really is built around having a proven plan with a proven development process, and identifying areas that we can automate and accelerate. And throughout working with our customers, we've developed a number of areas and a number of applications that we can help streamline the process and make it more efficient to go from your existing data platform to Snowflake. So what are the steps? And at the center of it all is ultimately that project management aspect of things. So we want to make sure that we manage timelines, manage the dependencies, and understand and monitor the change management activities as they progress. And then from a delivery perspective, the first step in the process is really that code conversion. So the DDL, the procedures, the scripts need to be translated into Snowflake. And so we've built tools to help automate and accelerate that code conversion process. And then next, we're going to need to migrate the data. So the data migration. So we're going to load the data, the historical data, which is a one-time load to Snowflake. And then we can also automate that process in many areas. And then we move on to the data ingestion process. So we need to develop the data pipelines from the sources to Snowflake and, build those pipelines with continuous data movement and understand all the data transformations that need to occur to get from the source to the target based upon your workloads and use cases. And next, we need to integrate the applications. So we need to make sure that we build the integrations between any of the reporting and analytic applications, as well as build any of the integrations around your applications, whether those are on-prem apps or web apps or any other type of application. We need to make sure that we build all those integrations so that we've moved on and you're able to repoint those applications to the Snowflake environment. And we work to verify and validate the data is giving the appropriate results. And we're going to automate that validation, and we're going to build a repeatable process around that testing and those test plans. And then next, we're going to make sure that the environment is fully configured. So we're going to make sure that we're meeting all the security environments from it. If we were going to integrate with SSO, what are the roles, what are the data security, and any other environment configurations that we want to adjust within the Snowflake environment. We do so at that time. As we move on, we help balance the business and technical considerations throughout a Snowflake migration. So we work with the business side to understand their expectations around business disruption, make sure that we manage risk, and we're going to leverage any of the existing investments that the organization has, and we're going to really streamline and deliver that solution, maximizing the time value. From a technical perspective, we need to take into consideration the tools and data sources. We want to understand and work with our customers to develop our migration prioritization, and whether that's a data domain, whether that's a departmental based, whether that's a use case based or complexity based, or a variety of other reasons as you see here. And we're going to really try to minimize that dual running period and decommission your legacy data platform. And as we move on, when we work with our customers, we talked about the migration options here. And a lot of times we can leverage existing investments and help organizations really quickly and easily migrate those existing investments to Snowflake. Sometimes we want to make sure that we look at those existing investments and we find areas for optimization. Not all of your existing data processes and data pipelines are going to be optimized and efficient in Snowflake. So we're going to work with you to identify those and then separate those and optimize those processes so that you can really start to realize the benefits of migrating to the Snowflake platform. And then there's going to be other opportunities where you may look at something and say, hey, let's really maximize our investment in Snowflake and let's architect from the ground up. And so in these instances, we're going to re-architect, starting from scratch and make sure that we build those data pipelines and that process, maximizing all the capabilities in the Snowflake world. And next, in the process, we help organizations. We have built some pre-built data models that help accelerate the time to value. So working with a couple customers where we have a customer pre-built data model that can help them understand the lifetime value and profitability of their customers. A product data model that ties to that helps them understand what promotions are working, what are customers buying, and how to optimize their supply chains. And then lastly, we tie the sales and orders to bring both of those together to help really provide enhanced insights into those organizations leveraging a pre-built data model that's fully customizable to your organization. And lastly, here's some real live examples from some of the customers that we've worked with to migrate to Snowflake. And so as we look at a retail example, we have a retail customer that has a large Oracle Exadata environment, and they're challenged with a pending refresh, which was a $2 million plus spend to refresh the hardware software with 22% support ongoing. So this customer had a data warehouse that was in a good state, but however, Exadata couldn't handle the workload that they were throwing at it. They're throwing out a workload that it was a 52-week analysis, and the organization couldn't handle anything past 26 weeks on their Exadata environment. So it produced a lot of individuals doing a lot of manual workarounds that were very time-consuming to solve for this gap in their technology. So the solution was we worked through a pilot and proof of concept in the Snowflake world. Where we were able to produce that full year analysis, giving all their orders and transactions. And we're able to deliver that in 3 minutes for $4 in compute costs in the Snowflake environment. And so we work with that organization, identify the migration process, and we determined that a lift and shift in this case was best to eliminate the pending Oracle Exadata upgrade. And as new analytical requirements feed it in, we could optimize those different processes at that time. And so we work with that customer, and the business case is at IRR of 94% in year one, with $2.3 million in year one benefits and a payback period of 1.1 years. And a lot of that was delivered by enabling that single source of truth, eliminating the manual processes, reducing duplication, making that data reusable throughout the organization. And from a hard benefit perspective, that was $2.3 million. From a soft benefit perspective, there was another $5 million in benefits by enabling that organization to deliver real-time analytics at scale throughout all of their stores. They're able to do more predictive analytics, as well as increase customer satisfaction and deliver analytics mobilely throughout the individuals that are managing the different stores in different locations. So as from a retail perspective, that's one example. Another healthcare organization that we're working with, again, large Oracle Exadata environment with decentralized data and data silos throughout. And the challenge here was that there was no single source of truth. So in this instance, we work with the organization to understand their current state. And, it was determined that really re-architecting and maximizing the benefits that they could get by leveraging the Snowflake Cloud Data Platform. And there were some good data assets that were centralized in place, and we looked to leverage those existing assets and lift and shift those to Snowflake. In this instance, this was a large organizational transformation where we work with the organization to realign people, the processes, the technology, as well as centralize all the data throughout. And this healthcare organization realized 200+% IRR with $7.5 million in year one business benefits. And, when we factor on and layer on the soft benefits that we know the organization would achieve that are a little bit more difficult to quantify, we ended up with a $19 million business case with a payback period of 9 months. And so this healthcare organization, again, by delivering predictive insights, increasing care management, increasing member satisfaction, and eliminating a lot of the compliance and risks that are associated with the legacy platform, was able to achieve a tremendous amount of business benefits in a small payback period, which made it almost a no-brainer to migrate and build their new data process leveraging Snowflake. And lastly, we have a CPG customer that we've also worked with that had siloed, disjointed processes across various different systems. And so they're leveraging Salesforce as their CRM, but they also had 4 different ERP systems because this customer grew by a lot of M&A processes, and they kept in place the ERPs that are around those different product lines. So there was no data platform in this instance in place, and there was manual processes throughout as this organization had grown at a tremendous pace. So workarounds were time consuming, and there was a lack of data quality throughout the organization. So in this instance, we look to leverage our pre-built data models. So we leverage the customer data model, the product data model, and layering on the transactional sales and order data models. And so we help this customer really better understand customer value, profitability of customers, and centralize that interaction across the various platforms. So now they're able to make smarter, more fact-based decisions to deliver better products, better prices, improve their inventory selection, and really totally transform their supply chain. And we did this by centralizing the customer data, the product data, along with the product hierarchy, and layering on all the sales and orders throughout. And then now we're progressing on to deliver enhanced insights by enabling predictive analytics throughout their organization. And so with that concludes the Snowflake migration webinar, and I'd like to open it up at this time to Q&A. So if you have a question, please feel free to type it into the chat window, and I'd be happy to answer any of those questions that you have. Okay, so I have a question of how do I get started with my migration? So to get started with your migration, folks, you want to reach out to us, and we can schedule a discovery call, we'd want to understand a little bit more about your use cases, what you're doing today, and how that could potentially change moving forward. So we'd want to work with you to go through a brief discovery call and understand your current state challenges in the direction that you'd like to move moving forward. And with that, we'll be sending a follow-up after this webinar, and please feel free to respond to that, and I'd be happy to get back on and work through that with you. And another question I have, for an organization with data around 500 gigabytes to 1.2 terabytes of data, what would be the estimated cost to migrate to Snowflake? Now, storage is extremely cheap. So if we're talking about, from a storage perspective, storage will be based upon your current cloud provider's storage, which is typically between $23 and $27 per terabyte compressed. So, in a 1 to 2 terabyte world, you'd be looking at a storage cost of, a few dollars. Now, based upon the workloads and how you're loading data, how you're processing data, and then, how you're going to query and use that data, that would be ultimately what would really determine your cost. So in this instance, I'd be happy to, walk through and understand a little bit more about your current state environment and what that would look like from a cost perspective, and then we can work to help you refine what that would be from a budgetary perspective. A great question. Another question is there any way to get familiar with Snowflake? Absolutely. You can actually go to the Snowflake website and you can sign up for a free trial and actually get free credits to work with Snowflake. And if you follow us on YouTube and our LinkedIn, we're constantly promoting and posting different things about Snowflake, features, functions, benefits, and we will be releasing some tutorial-based learning in YouTube and on LinkedIn. Okay, and if we don't have any additional questions, I'd like to thank everybody for joining. And like I said, look for the follow-up email that we'll send out here shortly. And I'd really look forward to hearing from you and understanding your challenges from an organizational perspective and how Snowflake and data ideology could potentially help. So thank you, and that concludes our webinar for today.